Are you talking? Nipuna? Your mic is muted, but I didn't hear you properly. Can others hear him? Nipuna, can you check your mic? Can some others can talk? Check whether I can hear you properly or not. Desan, can you talk?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I can hear him. So Nipuna, I think yeah, I can see your chat, but I didn't hear you properly. So can you remove your headphone and talk? Sometimes headphone has issues. Okay, time's gone. So Anushigan, Nibunat, you can mute. Tanushigan, 44. So is there any volunteers who need to present your idea? So it's not a matter of whether you write your blogs in a correct format. It's a matter of presenting your idea. Whether it's correct or wrong, you can present. So I don't need to give any marks, just for your improvement. If I find something, I can tell some suggestions to you to improve your blogs in next time. So that's why I asked, can somebody share your screen and present your idea? Takshila, 69.
Yes, madam.
Can you present your idea? Just share your screen. And
Okay, madam.
okay, great. Very good. So go on. Now you can share. I give the option.
Now, okay, madam.
Yeah, I can see you. So just go on your idea.
Good afternoon, all. Today, my topic is file system and was database management system. Now, we can define what is system. File system is a process that manage how and where data on storage disk, typically hard disk drive, is stored, accessed, and managed. And the features of file system: space management, metadata management, integrity management, and restricting access to files. And we can identify the advantages of file system. Backup. It's a data held files of computer-based system can be backed up more quickly and automatically. The second one is compactness. Data can be stored in a small amount of space. Third one is data retrieval. It's improved data retrieval techniques. Fourth one is editing. File can be easily edited and editing tools and application can be used. Last one is file sharing. Computer-based system files can be shared by several users at the same time. Now we can identify the disadvantages of file system. First one is data redundancy. The reason for a data redundancy is the same data is duplicated in many files. The second one is data inconsistency. Due to data redundancy, it's the probable that data won't be consistent. Third one is accessing data is difficult. When a user needs to access information, it is difficult to manage. If you want to access information, you must run a specified software. Fourth one is limited data sharing. Data is disappeared across multiple files. As a result of this, data dividing sharing between applications is challenge. Now we can define what is database. Database management system. Users of the system are given facilities to perform several kinds of operations on such a system for either manipulation of the data in the database, the management of database, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, or DBMS are the example of DBMS, and usage of DBMS are incoming data, organizing data, provide ways for the data to modified. That's the type of DBMS. Have many. There are three main types of DBMS: relational data model. That's the example. Network data model. It is all entities are organized in a graphical representation. And last one is hierarchical data model. That's the tree structure. Now the features of database management system: improve file consistency, enhance security, reduce representations and redundancy, provide a multi-user environment. Now we can identify the advantages of DBMS: better data transfer. Data management makes it possible for users to access more and better managed data. Then end user will be able to quick check and response to any changes. Second one is better data security. DBMS help firms improve data security, but providing a better platform for data privacy and security because many users are sharing data frequently. Third one is increase and end user productivity. End user can take last decision about success for failure in the global economy. Fourth one is simple and fast data access. Anyone can understand logical and simple view of DBMS, such as data insertion, deletions, or creations. And DBMS aid in the production of speedy representations to database. Now we can identify the disadvantages of DBMS, cost and hardware software. DBMS require high-speed processors and significant amount of memory. Then DBMS want to big amount of storage and high-speed processors to store and process the data. This therefore it is used advanced hardware and software. Second one is staff training expenses. They want to good number of educated staff for the system, and the significance of money must be spent on software development. Third one is database system maintenance. It is very important because as new threats emerge on a daily, then all components must be updated on a regular basis. As result, must add in security measures put in places. The last one is performance. Some file systems are poor, then DBMS does not perform well for small business. As a result, some apps all perform solution. The DBMS is not recommended for small business. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Takshila. So it's a great presentation. So, all of you, so I appreciate the effort and the forward thinking. So, great. So the suggestions are, so first thing, you have to maintain a, when it comes to blog and essay, so always we have to give some small amount of like it looks like you can reduce some kind of weight for the blog. Okay, so you can divide two parts like file system versus DBMS part 1 and part 2. Okay, so always the difference between the blog and the essays or the books or the other websites links and the Medium blog. So Medium blog, when it comes to its maximum, when you write, you can see the amount of time. So within 3 to 5 minutes, it's enough. If when you write, you can see the time. When it exceeds more than 5, you can give the part 2 option. Okay. So part 1 and part 2, you can write two separate things. Okay. So otherwise it's good. Thank you. So I guess the time was gone. So I quick today's lecture. Yeah. So basically, from your presentation, I identified those who understand what is files. So for the previous lecture, we discussed why database is important and role of the DBMS and advantage of DBMS we already discussed. So today we are going to discuss database design. So basically, the Medium blog context is compare the file system with DBMS, right? So you take, when it comes to file system, you take I guess others also in the same mindset with Takshila, I guess. So when it comes to file system, you think only the computerized file system, right? So the file system, in the sense, the actual meaning definition is either it can be manual file system or computerized file system. So basically, when it comes to file system, you have to consider both manual and computerized, right? So manual file system, in the sense that the normal paperworks, writing, when it comes to the data, they write in the books or the white sheets and keep them within the files, and in the files within the file tracks. Like when you go to your MC, they maintain your medical records as a file system, right? So likewise, that's called manual file system. Normally the government nowadays, it's partially moved to the computerized, but most of the time the GS office and these even small post office, so they maintain manual file system. So when it comes to file system in the exam also, you have to think both manual and computerized. Okay. So when it moves to the database design, it always deal with the DBMS. Okay. So far we deal with the file system. So when we move to the DBMS or the software part, DBMS is we have to work with the software to create user details or create databases, right? So in that scenario, we have to, before moving to the DBMS software, we have to design a database. It can be either a manual, like within the papers, you can write what kind of tables, what kind of data you have to add, or you can design using designing tools are there, right? That UI designing tools, there you can put like tables, or even Word, you can design how many tables, design in the sense. You guess what is database, right? When it comes to the software like DBMS, there always we have some tables, right? So I will show the picture. So all the data stored in a table format. So the database design in this scenario, we have to define how many tables, each tables, what kind of data we have to store, and what kind of connection between those tables we have to perform. Likewise, what kind of data types we have to store in each field. So today's lecture, we are going to discuss these kind of stuffs. Okay. So first thing, database design. So what is database design? The name itself, you can define. Don't memorize these stuffs. Like you don't need to memorize all the stuff. You have to understand. When you have to understand, you can write your own words. I don't reduce your marks when it comes to the meanings. If you can give the meanings with your own words, I will give you the full marks. So don't worry about the definitions. Don't remember those, or don't print out those stuffs and bring your cheat sheets. So don't do that. Okay. So when it comes to database design, what is database design? So the activities that focus to design the database, that's all. So what is database design in the sense? The activities which focus to design a database structure. Okay. So those database structure, okay, I will answer the questions in the last. Okay, sorry for that. So in the database structure, those database structures will be stored and managed by the end user. So when it comes to the database design, we have to think a lot of stuffs. It's not just a design. Okay. After finishing your design, those design need to be developed into a software like DBMS. So we have to be careful when it comes to the database design. You can't just design looks like a dresses or something. Even dresses also, when it comes to the design, you have to design whether that is applicable or that is wearable by a person. Otherwise, those designs are useless, right? So this is database design. So first thing, why do we need a database design? You can think, right? When it comes to DBMS, we just jump to the DBMS software like SQL or something? I think most of the time you are doing those kind of stuff. When I ask you to create a university database, you just open your MySQL and type create database, create university database, then use database. Likewise, you start to code. So that is not the best practice. Okay. So when it comes to exam assignment, so whatever the stuff, when I ask you to create a database, first thing, either in the paper or in Word or whatever the stuff, you have to design a database. Like, so let's take, when it comes to university database, first thing you have to match with your real time. When it comes to university, what are the real time objects are there? So how about we have to manage those objects into our database? So first thing, when it comes to university database, we have to identify what kind of data. So faculty data, department data, and the external unit data, external faculty data. Likewise, we have to think what kind of data we have to include in this database. Then we have to write those connections. Like, so why we need a database design? So when we design only, we can add all the data. Otherwise, when we imagine those stuffs and create database, there are a lot of chances to miss the database, right? So when we imagining, it may be we can lose those data. Like when sometimes we can miss medical MC data to put in the university data. So when it comes to database design, you create something in the paper or in the Word, then you can share with others to check whether all the data are added to the database. Okay. So here in the example, there is a database, computerized file system. So when it comes to Excel, also that is a file system, but that is computerized file system. Okay. So in here, there is a file system, ID and E numbers and the name. There's a title and there is a date for the for those. There's a day. I think that's a date of birth or something. So, so this is a table of, this is a Excel file to get the employees details, like what kind of skills they are having now. So skill 1 and the date that skill got by that employee. So skill 2 and the date, and skill 3 and the date. Okay. So this is our normal Excel sheet. So when it comes to these kind of stuff, here you can see in the E number, in the E number, there is a missing column, right? So there is a part. So the 9 and 10, there is no any E number, name, title, but that person has some kind of skill, right? But other details are didn't enter in this Excel. So these kind of issues are stored in the DBMS, right? So when it comes to the primary key or something, so you will learn in the practical session what is primary key and other stuff. So for your knowledge, so using the DBMS, that software, we can't move to the next part without entering these columns, right? So when it comes to DBMS, that is a advantage. So we must use DBMS. So that's one usage of that one requirement to why we need a database design, right? So the second thing is when it comes to the title, there is some needs to, we have to order the titles in alphabetical order. So when it comes to the Excel sheet, we can't do that. So for that, in the DBMS, we can't do that ordering part also. So on that purpose, we need database design. Okay. And then when it comes to the certification, we can't calculate after entering skill 2, skill 1, skill 3. So there is a column to total number of skills. So for that, when it comes to Excel, we have to count manually and we have to add. But in DBMS, there is a function we can calculate easily and it's automatically update the skill. So total number of skills. And also when the employee in the future, if the employees add some new skill, so in Excel sheet, what we have to do, we have to go the file, and for that we have to know the exact location of the file. Then we have to open that Excel sheet. Then we have to add the new skill column, and all the stuff we have to add from the scratch. But when it comes to DBMS, it's easy to add the new column. Okay. So these kind of struggles in the file system to store a database, we have to have a design for the database while entering to the DBMS. Okay. So, because a manual data looks like this, we don't have a proper data set, right? So for that, we have to design a DBMS a database. Then only we have to move to the DBMS. Okay. So when it comes to DBMS design, what we have to do is, this is the actual data in the exam also. I can give you, looks like this kind of table, right? Then I can ask, please modify or please design this database. Then you have to present these kind of nice database, nice tables, no nice database design. So when it comes to a good design, you have to consider those each fields needs to be filled. Here we don't have any empty field. Okay. Also, we have to divide. First stuff is we have to fill all the fields when it comes to a good database design. Okay. Second thing, we have to decompose those tables. Decompose means we can't maintain the large amount of tables at once. So when it comes to those kind of large amount of data, when we are going to maintain those as a one database, then we have a lot of issues while modifying those data. Okay. So for that purpose, when we have to design a database, we have to divide those tables as much as possible. So here, using the employee ID, they take the employee role and the personal data one column, then the certification data is in the second column. For that also, they divide the skill table into another. So earlier that one table in here, when it comes to a good database design, they divide into 3. But employee personal detail and employee skill detail, then they connect those two different tables into one. Okay. So in this table, we can easily add the skill. In here, we can add the new skill and then just modify this. Or we can add the skill ID and modify the table is enough. Okay. So this is a good design. Earlier one is a very poor design. There is empty fields and large amount of data in one table. So when it comes to database design, you have to focus on these steps. Okay. So the next is evaluation of file system. I already discussed this. So when it comes to file system, you have to think both. There are 2 types of file systems. First thing is manual file system. Second thing is computerized file system. Okay. The manual file system, in the sense, the papers within the system organized into the files and tracks, like the manual, the physical. You can see those files, right? So these kind of file system, when it comes to manual file system, there are a lot of issues you can discuss, right? We have to take so much of time to write those details, and we have to take care of those data. So when it comes to natural disaster or there's some insects, so it can easily destroy those data, right? So those kind of disadvantage leads the manual file system to computerized file system. So computerized file system in the sense just Word or Excel or some kind of basic office packages or basic data storing tools we can use when it comes to computerized file system. So computerized file system have one person. So that person we called as a data processing specialist. So that person was hired to create a computer-based system. Like in our dean office also there are some MAs to with the computers to enter your manual data into computerized file system. Okay, so that person is called as DPS, so data processing specialist. So what kind of roles, so what kind of responsibilities he or she had is the person had to create a computer-based system to track the data and produce required reports. Okay. So using that reports only, we calculate your attendance, we calculate your final marks also. So those kind of stuffs are used by our department and university. Okay. So when it comes to the file system or file terminology, so in the Excel, we use some terminology in the sense the keywords. So those words are specific to the Excel. Like after introduction of to the Excel only, these words are used. Before also they used, but in the general forms. So the first term is data. So I already talked with data. So what is data in the sense? So these are the data. The number is data. So the employee ID, one ID is a data. The name is a data. So the last name is a data. Employee role is the data. So these are data. Then there is one. My voice is clear, right? Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here I got some internet connections. So, okay. So the data is whatever the stuff you entered. It may be a date of birth, number, name, place, or whatever the stuff we called as a data in the computerized file system. So these words are useful when it comes to DBMS. So you have to understand what it means. Okay. Second thing is field. So field in the sense the box or cell we called as a cell in wait. Here the skill name 100 skill ID 100 is a one cell the one record, right? Sorry, one field. Okay. So likewise that small cell, right, in each cell in the Excel we called as a one field. Okay. Then record in the sense that all row. This is a one record, 100 basic database management and the create and manage data. Altogether this row is called as a one record. A related set of data or related set of field we called as a record. Okay. Then then file in the sense that when it comes to the skill we stored as a skill Excel sheet named as a skill. So that one Excel sheet we called as a file. Okay. So these kind of terminology you have to aware when it comes to the when it comes to the computerized file system as well as DBMS. Okay. Then the problem with file system data processing. File system data processing in the sense we have to think both manual and computerized. So the basic issue is what lengthy development time as well as complex. So difficult lengthy development time means so when we want to enter your personal details, so when it come to your batch, we have to get your or we have to enter 85 students data, so that take so much of time, right? And then when it comes to our questions like whoever lives in Colombo, please give the details. When Dean asked to get your Colombo students details, then they have to work all the days to get only the Colombo students details, right? So difficulty of getting quick answers. So you can get quick answers when it comes to the file system, both manual and computerized as well. Then complex system administration. So the altogether when it comes to system administration in the sense, so if a person or if a dean wants to arrange a bus service to Colombo more than 35 kilometer, whoever lives more than 35 kilometer from the university, if dean wants to arrange travel service, then those system administration is complex when it comes to the data maintained in the file system. Okay. Then lack of security and limited. So when it comes to data, you even don't know those data how precious or how valuable. So when it comes to Facebook, you create all the stuffs and you enter your addresses, work details, experiences, and whenever you travel, you update with the location and photos. So those are data. When it comes to data, we didn't even care about the secure things. So the Facebook or the person who collected those data, using those data, they can earn billion of trillions of money, right? So always data need to be secure. So when it comes to university system, so each data need to be secure. Otherwise, when it comes to exam results or exam paper, those kind of the sensitive data, when it comes to sensitive data, if they reveal, it may be cause larger issues, right? Also the limited data sharing. So when it comes to data sharing, like the person in the dean office, like 1 MA, store your data in her his PC. Then when it comes to data sharing, each time when others wants that data, each time he or she need to mail those datas and other stuffs. Okay, so that is called as limited data sharing. And then extensive programming. So using the Excel sheet, we can get the data I already discussed. When it comes to 81st students and we want Colombo students details only, then using that Excel sheet, we can write a programs like C# or Java. You can write like first you have to import that Excel sheet. Then within that Excel sheet, using the codings, there are large amount of codings you have to write. Then using the coding, you can extract wherever the address is equal to Colombo. Please extract those students' details. So you can do by programming language, but when it comes to programming, you have to write a large amount of codes. So rather than this, the DBMS, when you create those data in DBMS, it's easy. Okay, these problems will solve when it comes to DBMS. Okay. So those are the stuffs today I prepared. So basically, so far we discussed for the, so far we discussed before the DBMS, what kind of issues, what are the keywords. So first lecture, we discuss about what is data, information, database. So I prepare you to understand within the database. So these lectures, I prepare in very slow and simple format, because you have to understand what kind of stuffs rather than the DBMS. So far I didn't discuss within the DBMS, right? So far what I teach you is external stuffs to the DBMS, right? So from next lecture onwards, you will have a DBMS actual lectures. So in there, I have to discuss more than the notes. I have to discuss the how to design DBMS, and when it comes to design, you have to know about normalization and other big stuffs. So don't miss your lectures. So if those stuffs didn't understand, you can't do your exams, because in the exams from these 3 lectures, I didn't ask anything from in the exams. I just asked these stuffs in your assignments only. Okay. So from next lecture onwards only, you have the actual DBMS lecture. Okay. So it may be hard to understand for you if you are in the beginner level. So you have to be present in each lecture, and if you have any questions, you have to ask on that lecture onwards. Okay. Okay, so when it comes to questions, so you can't copy that Medium, so YouTube link, right? Or you want to, so when it comes, when after adding the YouTube link, the recordings, wait. So this is about Medium blog, right? When adding YouTube links to Medium, then it can't be copied, right? That's, so you can use that, whoever asked that question. So like, wait, I will show. So in the Medium, there is a column called embedded link. So using that option, you can give your whatever the link, right? So here, if you want to add a Medium link, so you can use this link, add an embedded, and here you, when you paste that link, you can, that link can redirect you another page or something. So when I add this link to that Medium, so using that embedded sign, so likewise, so it, you can copy, like, so when it comes to that, so when after publishing, it looks like this. So in that, they can copy that. In the pop-up, they can copy the link. So whoever asked that question, is that clear? Who asked? Oh no. Yeah. Divya Fernando. So is that okay? You can copy. So after publishing, when you move to the mouse pointer to the link, there is a pop-up like this. So after the pop-up, you can copy that link. Okay. We can't update. So the next lecture, I have a quiz. So you have to prepare what we learned so far. So that quiz will be more than 10 questions in the Monday lesson. Okay, in the Monday lesson, you have a quiz. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you will have 2 o'clock, you have your practicals. Shalini madam will conduct that. So if you have any issues, you can ask. I want to clear something, or if you have any questions to ask. So this is not regarding the lecture. So from 15 next week onwards, we are planning in the department, we are planning to form a technology club, like a technology club. So in that club, you can share, if a person in your batch, if a person is interested in any technology, or who are good in technology, you can do a session, like if you are a person, if you have ideas, or if you have knowledge in the mobile development, so you can contact me and we will arrange a session. So monthly you will have a session, all the batch, the 4th year, 3rd year, 2nd year, 1st year. So you can do a session with others via Zoom, and you will have a certificate from department as well. So whoever interested to do a session, so what kind of, it's not related to the technology. It's, if you are a person interested in photography, so you can do a session in the photography as well. So if you interested do such kind of sessions, you can contact me via my email ID. So you can connect me. So from I will plan, we will plan to do a whole meetup as the first meetup in the 20 within 20th July. So on that day onwards, monthly you have a meetup session. So whoever interested, you can connect me. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, let's wind up the session. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.